Our lesson today is about from a cell to an organism. This is video part one. At the end of this lesson, students or you will be able to define cell, tissue, organ, and system and explain the meaning of every term of these scientific ones. Second, you will be able to differentiate, to say the difference, and to compare and contrast the 5 levels of organization. And finally, students will be able to list and to name some body systems that are in the human body and to recognize their functions, their jobs, what do they do in our body. At the beginning, this is a picture of the parts that are found in the human body. It's a model, shows us that our body is made up of many parts. And before we took that, all living things are made up of cells, and we have two kinds of cells, animal and plant cell. And also we took that cells, they are the very tiny parts that make every living thing. Also, we took that when any organism eat, that means this food is going to be processed in the body, is going to be changed. And the parts that are responsible for this change are they are found in a system that is called digestive system. And also we took that we have a special system that helps the blood to be transported in our body, carrying some materials that we need them to stay alive. Also, we studied in the previous years that to breathe and to take the oxygen from the air and to exhale or to remove the carbon dioxide from our body, we have another system that work in a very organized way, which is called respiratory system. So in this video, we will talk about how a living thing or how the body of a living thing, and especially the human body, how is organized, how this human body is organized in a very perfect way. So let's start. First, the complexity of the human body comes from a very simple part that is called cell. Imagine that our body that has millions of cells or trillions of cells, its life starts by only one and a single simple cell. Even this cell cannot be seen by the eyes. It must be seen by the microscope. So any human starts its life from a single cell. This single cell, it starts to grow. It will not stay single and it will not stay only one. So it will start to grow and then to reproduce. When we say reproduce, because this is a characteristic for living things, this is a special ability given to living things to be more and more in number. So this single cell, it reproduces by dividing, by doubling, by duplicating itself to give many cells. And these many cells also in turn, they will reproduce to give us more and more cells. There are more than trillion cells in our body. So all of these trillion cells, they come from only one single cell. Now, let's see what is this cell that builds our body and that makes our body. First, cell is the structural and functional unit of our body or of the human body. Structural, it means that every part in my body is made up of cells. That's why I define the cell or I explain the meaning of cell using the term structural. It means it makes every part in my body. And also cells are functional units. Functional, it means that all the functions that my body makes, they are all done by these tiny parts. So cell is the structural and functional unit of our body. Cells come in different sizes and shapes. Not all of my cells are the same size. I have different size. Some are small, some are big. They are different in shapes. Some are star shape, others are rectangular shapes, others are round, and so on. Look at this document. It shows us many different cells. For example, this is the muscle cells that are responsible for the movement. So as you can see, they are long and they are striated. Striated, it means that inside them, we have something that looks like the strips. So these are the fibers that helps us move. We have the nervous cell, which is found, for example, in our brain. We have the blood cell found in our blood. As you can see, they are round. The nerve, they are star-shaped. We have the fat cells. We have the epithelial cells, for example, they are rectangular. We have the immune cells, the cells that defend our body and kill germs, bacteria, viruses, and so on. We have the sex cells. Sex cells, they are responsible for the reproduction. We have the bone cells, they are found in our bones. So as you can see, these are some examples of the trillions of cells that are found in my body. All of these cells, they are structural units because they make up parts. They are functional units because they have many important and they make important functions. Cells carry on all the processes of life that happen inside the human body to keep him alive. So every function, every job my body makes or it is done inside my body, it will be done by these cells. Now, these cells, as you can see here, for example, I have one cell, and this one cell, it's called epithelial cell. It comes from the single cell that makes my body. This epithelial cell, it will not stay as only one cell. It will reproduce and it will double itself to give me many cells. When this cell becomes many cells, in this case, I will not call it cell because cell, it's only for one single cell. Because I have here many cells and all of these cells, they, as you can see, they are the same shape, so that in this case, I will call them tissue. So I will repeat. I have here one single cell. It's called epithelial cell. It will not stay single. It will reproduce to give me more cells. These more cells, they are the same shape. وأكيد they have the same function. When they are joined together, I cannot call them cell. So I will call them tissue. Okay? So by this way, I can define the tissue by saying that tissue is a collection, is a group of similar cells that perform, that make a similar function. What do you mean by that? When I have a group of cells, these many cells, they are same shape, same function, and when they are grouped together or joined together, this group, I will call it tissue. So here I have bone cell. This is one bone cell. When it reproduces to give me more cells or many cells, when these many cells, they are joined together, they will give me tissue. And this will be called the skeletal or bone tissue. Also here, كمان muscle tissue, muscle cell. This muscle cell, it's one cell. When it reproduces and doubles itself, it will be many. These many cells, when they are joined together, they will give me muscle tissue. The same for the nerve, one nerve cell. When it becomes many nerve cells and they are joined together, they will make nervous tissue. Also, a blood cell, red blood cell, it's found in the blood. This is one. When they are grouped together, they make tissue that we call it connective tissue. It connects tissues together and organs together. Okay, so all of these, at the beginning, I have one cell of every kind. This one cell, it reproduces to give me more cells. When many cells are joined together, and they must be the same. As you can see here, I don't have any other kind. All of them, they are of the same kind. In this case, this group, I call it tissue. Now, my body, it does not have only one tissue, it has many tissues. So let's see what happened to these many tissues when they are joined together or they are grouped together. Again, it starts with only one cell. When this one cell duplicates itself and it gives me many cells that are the same and they are joined together, they will give me one tissue. This tissue, when it is joined with another tissue, and when I say another, it means with another different tissue, it will form a part or a structure that I call it organ. So organ, its meaning, or I can define it as collection of different tissues that perform a function or that perform a specific function. What do you mean by that? Let's take the second example. I have one bone cell. This one bone cell, it divides, it reproduces, it gives me many bone cells. When they are joined together in one group with same cells, they give me tissue. This tissue, when it is joined, for example, with another tissue, for example, such as the nerve tissue. So when bone tissue and nerve tissue, they are joined together, they will make one organ that is called bone. Another example, when I have here the skeletal muscle cell. Skeletal muscle cell, it's one. When it becomes many muscle cells, and all of them, they are the same, and they are joined together, they form a tissue. This is one tissue. If another tissue comes and it joins this tissue, for example, the nerve tissue come with the muscle tissue, and bone tissue come to join with the muscle tissue. So in this case, I have three different tissues. Muscle tissue together with bone tissue, together with nerve tissue. In this case, these three different tissues, when they are joined together, they will make an organ. This organ, I can call it lungs, I can call it the muscles that are in my arm. I have different organs, as you can see here. So I have a brain, I have heart, I have stomach, I have bone, I have skin, and every organ of these organs, it has its own job. For example, the brain, it controls my body. I don't have any other organ to control my body. So it has its own specific function. The heart, it pumps the blood to all my body. And this is the only organ that makes this job. That's why I say that a heart is an organ. It's made up of many different tissues that are joined together, and it has its own specific function, which is pumping the blood. Stomach, it's an organ made up of different kinds of tissues joined together. It has its own function, which is digesting the food and changing it into small pieces and so on. So I have many different organs. These are just few examples about the organs that are in my body. Then I will start again. One cell reproduces, gives me many same cells joined together, they will give me tissue. Different tissues joined together, they will give me one organ. Now, when these different organs join together, they will form a structure that is called system. For example, I will take the respiratory system. The respiratory system, it is made up of many different organs. So how we put these organs together and why we put them together? Because some organs in my body, they work in common job, they have common functions, and they complete each other. For example, through my nose, I take in air or I take in oxygen from the air. This oxygen, it will go through a long tube that is called trachea, into my lungs. So in this case, I have three organs that are working together: nose with trachea with lungs. Because if these three organs work together to make me perform one function, which is breathing, so I join them together in one group, and I call this group respiratory system. So in general, to define a system, I can say that system is a collection of different organs that perform a common function. So different organs, if they complete each other in one common function, I can put them together in a system. Another example, let's see the nervous system. This is the nervous system. It's made up of many organs. These many organs, mainly I have the brain, then the spinal cord, which is at my back, it is inside my backbone, and all the nerve cells that are distributed in my body. All of these parts, they work together to control my body and to regulate my body's functions and activities. I have muscular system. Muscular system, as you can see here, it includes all the muscles that are in my body, because all of these muscles together, they complete each other to make my body move and to make some materials to move in my body, such as the food and the oxygen. I have the skeletal system. Skeletal system, it's a system made up of different bones that they are organs. All of these different bones, they work together and they cooperate together so that my body can move, so that they can protect my organs, such as here, the rib cage. Inside it, I have the heart and the lungs. Inside the skull, which is in my head, I have the brain. So these bones, they have common job, which is protecting or the protection of some organs. For example, here, I have the circulatory system. Circulatory system, it's made up of the heart and all the blood vessels that are in my body along with the blood. All of these, they work together and they complete each other. For example, the heart, it pumps the blood to all my body. This blood is carried inside the tubes that we call them vessels, and so on. Digestive system, it's made up of different organs, mainly stomach, mouth, and intestine. These three organs, they help me eat and they help me to break down the food into small pieces so that my body can use it to have energy. So these are some examples of systems that are found in my body and they perform common function. So again, digestive system, it's to break down the food into nutrients, which are the small pieces of the food. Circulatory system, it transports the blood to all my body. Nervous system controls my body. Muscular system, it is responsible for my movement and the movement of some materials. Respiratory system, it is for breathing. I have the skeletal system, which is for supporting my body, to help me stand upright, to protect some organs. I have the integumentary system, which has the skin that covers my body and protect me from the germs that are surrounding me, and also from any materials that can be dangerous around me. Okay, so these are few examples about system. So a human body, the complete and the well-organized human body, it is well organized because it is organized in 5 levels. These levels, they start from one cell. It reproduces to give me many cells. When many cells are the same and similar, joined together, they form a tissue. When different tissues come together, they form an organ. When different organs work together to make a common job, they make a system. And many systems, they form the complete human body. So the 5 levels of organization, they show the relation between cell and a complete organism. In other way, how I can obtain a complete organism from only one cell. Imagine you are full and complete body because you started from only one cell. They are cells. When they work together and they are similar and joined together, they give me tissue. When these tissue work with other different tissues, they make an organ. When different organs work together to make me one common job, they form a system, or we can say organ system. It's the same meaning. When different systems work together to make me an organized human body, they form a complete organism or a complete living thing. So again, the 5 levels of organization, they show the relation between cell and a complete organism. So from a cell to a complete organism, I have 5 levels, starting from cell, tissue, organ, system, and finally an organism. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it and you find it helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to like this video. Thank you and see you.